ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवतां नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी. Let us start. So today we are going to talk about chapters 7 to 12. In that, I am going to cover 7 and 8, and Navneet is going to cover 9 and 10, and Reddy sir is going to cover 11 and 12. So before we start, let us see. Yesterday, Jayashri and Srini has talked about chapters 1 to 6, right? So basically, Bhagavad Gita, entire Bhagavad Gita chapters can be broadly categorized into 3 shatkams. In the first shatkam, that is chapters 1 to 6, it majorly discussed on the Jiva oriented. It is mostly Jiva oriented, and we saw the nature of the individual and Karma Yoga as a sadhana, and emphasis on self effort, self inquiry, Dhyana Yoga, and all. So today we are going to see about 7 to 12, and in that we are covering Ishvara oriented, like nature of Ishvara, meditation upon Saguna Ishvara, and grace of Ishvara, without which any amount of effort is incomplete. So let us go to the chapter 7. So chapter 7 is called as Gnana Vijnana Yoga. So Gnana, in the sense, it is the knowledge of Nirguna Brahma, and Vijnana is knowledge of manifest divinity. So in this chapter, Bhagavan Krishna talks about Gnana and Vijnana in its entirety. Like, to start with, let us see what is Ajnana first. So Ajnana person will be like thinking there are many waves. Waves are real, and I am one of the waves. Like, I will be contributing to thinking about shapes of the wave and all. But Vijnana is like sees water alone is I am water. That's it. And body mind complex is negated. Like everything is neti, like that. Vijnana will think. Sorry. This is Jnana. This is Jnana. Jnana will think water alone is I am water. And third one is Vijnana, where water alone is, but waves are also there. As a wave, I can transact with other waves. Like we can see Jivana Mukta, where he is liberated while alive. This is one example. A Vijnani may choose to assume the identity of these all forms, like a wave that is in the awe of the ocean. Like, for example, this identity we can give it to Sri Ramakrishna Paramamsa, and then there is a second identity is the ocean, that is the creator, ordainer, and destroyer of all the waves. So after trying to impart this self-inquiry, Karma Yoga to Arjuna, Bhagavan finally turns to Bhakti Yoga. So assuming this identity, he has given Bhakti Yoga to Arjuna. So any other wave, third identity is any other wave acknowledging its unique characters, like, Vibhutis, where Bhagavan talks about the special manifestations he has. And the fourth one is all waves at once, like Prakriti, like the Jagat, talks about the Jagat. And the last one is the one dissolve all identities. There are no identities. So basically, if you see in Mahabharata, it is described like Bhagavan Krishna, before beginning the day, he first dissolves all the identities, and he enters into the meditation, fixing all his senses, and he meditates on the eternal Brahma. Then once he does this, then he goes, he goes to the next roles like prince and politician. So in spite of being very busy in his life, he still takes time to meditate every day. So this is one example. Then in this chapter, majorly we can see two topics: nature of Ishvara and bhakti. So first we'll see nature of Ishvara. Ishvara is the cause of the world. So any creation needs two types of causes. It can be a material cause and the intelligent cause. Like in the sense, material in the sense, the clay material, say the clay material, and it can be made into a pot. So that example we can take. So Ishvara is both. So how it is both? Because, if we see a spider, for example, spider can create its own material from inside, and then it can create the web as well. So we rarely see these type of causes, which has both causes in it. But yeah, only spider is exceptional, and Ishvara is both, we can say. And to say Ishvara has both higher and lower nature, Prakriti. That means higher in the sense para Prakriti and lower, apara Prakriti. So this is one table which is given in our SLM, where it shows like Jagat. As per Sankhya, it is called as Prakriti, and in chapter 7, it is called as apara Prakriti, where it is lower nature, and which is changing, always changing, and it is nothing but all objects. And in the wave example, we saw it is all the wavy shapes. So yeah, and then Jiva is Purusha, our Jiva para Prakriti, higher, and it is nothing but water that makes up the waves. As a metaphor, we can say that. And the consciousness is limited to specific objects. And if you see Ishvara is the consciousness of all there is. Like he is omniscient. He is there everywhere. So if you see major differences between para Prakriti and apara Prakriti, in para Prakriti, it is a consciousness principle. And here it is matter principle in apara Prakriti, inert. And para Prakriti is attributeless, nirguna. And apara Prakriti has a property. And then it is nirvikara. Para Prakriti is nirvikara. It is changeless. It will not change any time. Always which it changes is apara Prakriti. That is called as vikara. And para Prakriti is called as nirvikara. And para Prakriti is independent reality, satya. It is the truth. And apara Prakriti is dependent. It is always changing, right? So it is a dependent on something. You can say Ishvara is an independent entity, independent reality, and always this apara Prakriti depends on Ishvara. And para Prakriti can be correlated to Brahman, and apara Prakriti is Maya. People always get deluded with this Maya. And some points to note, Ishvara alone was there, as per the scriptures, alone was there before creation. And then apara Prakriti, this lower nature of Ishvara is nothing but the matter, and it manifests to become the creation. So wherever apara Prakriti is there is inseparable para Prakriti as well. So that means every body mind has changeless para Prakriti as well. That means apara Prakriti and para Prakriti both goes together. And if this para Prakriti is enclosed in body mind, then it is called as Jivatma. If it is unenclosed, then it is called as Paramatma. So then we have different types. Bhagavan Krishna makes different types of statements regards to this Prakriti in different chapters. So it is it is just a part of me. Prakriti is just a part of me. Prakriti is pervaded by me, but I am untouched by it. I am its Lord, Father, and Mother in 9th chapter. He told. Then, if you see, there are different cycles of Prakriti. Like first, it will be in unmanifest state, and then it goes to the manifest state. So, Bhagavan talks about the cycles of Prakriti, like how the existence dissolves into an unmanifest state, avyakta, and it becomes a vyakta. It's a cyclic fashion. It happens. But however, this Purusha is always untouched by it. So there is a modern analogy where in computer Word document, the font color will be white. Uh, Seeing that, we will think that nothing is there. But if we change the color of that document exists. So it becomes manifested. So on the screen, we can say. So initially it is unmanifest in white color, and when its color is changed, it is unmanifested now. So this principle of contrasting colors is, we can make it analogous to the Mahat Buddhi as per the Sankhya, which is the first evolute out of this Avyakta. Then Bhagavan also talks Ishvara is everywhere in this chapter. I alone am manifesting as the universe, Vishwarupa. You learn to see divinity in everything that you experience, and light in sun, moon, and then heat in fire, taste in water. Everywhere you experience is God. So like that, Bhagavan explains about Ishvara. And the topic second, which in this chapter is Bhakti. So Bhagavan says people are to give some, this thing about it. First, he says people are deluded by apara prakriti, this attractive, which is attractive and always changing, right? So everyone will get attracted to it, and they ignore para prakriti because para prakriti is nirguna and not attractive. So even though we enjoy changes, human mind wants something to hold on always. So then only one can enjoy those changes. So what Bhagavan says is, have all the transactions, but don't depend upon them for security or permanence. Like apara prakriti is referred to as a swimming pool. Like if you hold on to a para prakriti, have knowledge of it, then you can still enjoy your interaction in apara prakriti. Even though apara prakriti is changing and attractive, you can still come across it if you still have bhakti in Ishvara, have knowledge of the para prakriti. If you have that, then you can still come across that apara prakriti. You can cross that swimming pool in the sense. So yeah, to know para prakriti, we need to have bhakti. So the bhakti is nothing but the love of the Lord. It can be in any form. Bhakti is nothing but the worship of Ishvara, which is the totality, and which is para and apara in a particular form. So there are 3 stages of bhakti yoga. One is sakama bhakti, in the sense that worshipping God to get various things done along with the desire. People will worship God to get something done. Either it can be sukha prapti or it can be dukkha nivritti. So whichever form they worship, through that form, Bhagavan blesses. So they are divided into 2 type of devotees in this as part of the Sakama Bhakti. They are Artha Bhakta and then Ardhati Bhakta. Artha Bhakta in the sense, whenever that person is in distress or in any sorrow, to remove that, he prays God. And then Ardharti Bhakta is like for Artha. He prays for wealth. He wants any desires to fulfill, he will pray God. So these 2 are out of some desire they pray. So, but because of worshipping Ishvara, his mind becomes matured and mature because he is getting that blessing from God. So here we have a famous shloka here. Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukriti norjuna arto jignasur jnani cha bharatarshaba. So here God has mentioned about the different devotees which he has. Among these, we have discussed about Artha Bhakta and Ardharti Bhakta. So next, we will see the Nishkama Bhakti. In the Nishkama Bhakti, without desire, they will pray God. In the sense that they are like, one is apekshika nishkama bhakti. He is no more after worldly goals. They know it is anityam, that means temporary. Now desire is to attain Ishvara. That's it. They know about these worldly pleasures and all, they are useless. But they have a desire to attain Ishvara. So that kind of devotee is called as Jignasu. And then we have another one, which is Atyantika Nishkama Bhakti. So in this stage of Bhakti, he has discovered Lord to be non-different from himself. So because Lord alone obtains in the form of Paraprakriti, Jivatma, and Aparaprakriti, Shariram. So, and understands that Lord is not away from me. That means Lord is not indifferent from me. He is always in myself. So, Gnani Bhakta thinks like that. Gnani Bhakta has discovered Ishvara to be non-different from himself. Therefore, he has no further desires. He becomes desireless. Even Jignasu is also having desire, but to attain Ishvara. But Gnani Bhakta, he has no further desire. He becomes desireless and have attained Purnatvam as well. So Bhagavan says, Gnani alone is the greatest Bhakta and he is extremely dear to me. So in 7.17 sloka. And you can see in our SLM, they have given these kind of, which I have already explained. Then also Bhagavan says that he praises Gnani Bhakta, he glorifies Gnani Bhakta a lot. And while praising Gnani Bhakta, says that such great beings are extremely rare to find in 19th sloka. And in third sloka, he mentioned, like, out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who achieve perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. That means in around thousands of people, only one can achieve this. One can come near to me. So that is the meaning of this one. Manishyanam sahasreshu kaschidyatati siddhaye yatatamapi siddhanam kaschinmam veti tatpataha. Then, Paraprakriti is some more. We are talking about Paraprakriti and Aparaprakriti differences again. Like Paraprakriti is ever imperceptible. That means it never changes and it will not go to manifest or unmanifest state. It will always be there in unmanifest state. But Aparaprakriti, that is Maya, fundamental matter, it has two states, as we already told, manifest and unmanifest state. And so as it is in manifest state, it is a state available for perception, and differentiation is also possible. Like one pot, different type of pots we can make from the clay. And the unmanifest state is like not available for perception, that matter in the potential form, or it can be in energy form or anything. And why this chapter has named as Gnana Vijnana Yoga is Gnana. First is Gnana, means where Ishvara is seen to be different from the self. But Vijnana is, Ishvara is seen as non-different from me. Ishvara is in myself alone, like that. So that is the name of this. Then we'll go to chapter 8, where it talks about Akshara Parabrahma Yoga, where our sir says that Akshara means na ksharati iti, that which is not perishable, that which is imperishable, Brahma. So here the yoga of the indestructible Brahma. So here actually in 7.29 and 30 verses in the previous chapter, Bhagavan talks about some terms which Arjuna couldn't understand. So like, he asks 7 questions. These all terms are used in these 2 verses. So Arjuna asks Bhagavan these 7 questions. What is that Brahma, absolute? What is Adhyatma, spirit? What is Karma? What is Adibhuta? What is termed as Adideva? What is Adi Yajna here? How does he dwell in the body? How do you remember you? How to remember you at the time of death by those of steadfast mind? Bhagavan answers for about 6 questions, like the supreme imperishable or indestructible is Brahma. So as this chapter is majorly on, talks about indestructible Brahma, so you can see that in most of the places. And one's own self, the individual self, is called Adhyatma. Then the sacrificial offerings that bring about the origin of being is known as karma. Basically, we used to think it as simple action, but it is more than that. Like offering to Ishvara itself is considered as karma. And the perishable creation is called Adi Bhuta, that is nothing but Prakriti, that keeps on changing. And Hiranyagarbha is Adi Deva, it is an unmanifested state. And I am Adi Yajna. He answers the sixth question, Adi Yajna. I am Adi Yajna. One who is residing in you is Ishvara. It is one who is residing in you is called Deha Bhritambara. In this body, I myself dwelling as the inner witness. So then Bhagavan answers the last question, how to remember God at the time of death in verses 8.5 to 14. For this, Bhagavan explains, whosoever at the time of death goes forth leaving the body, remembering me alone, he attains me. There is no doubt about this. So like that he starts. And then remember me all the time with mind and intellect fixed on me. Continue your work with Ishvara awareness. So mind is disciplined. How mind is disciplined? It's through yoga in the form of proactive, practice in meditation and thinking of nothing else. So that means constantly engaging in contemplation of God to attain the supremely effulgent divine Purusha, that is God. So he also mentions about the glories of Ishvara. Ishvara is omniscient, that means all knowing. He is ageless being, the ruler of all, subtler than the subtle, the universal sustainer, and then possessing a form beyond human conception, effulgent like the sun, far beyond the darkness of ignorance. And he also talks about the Om syllable. Om is nothing but Parama Akshara. Or Eka Aksharam, one syllable. This is the name of Brahman. Om is Brahman in the form of sound. So, locking all the gates of the body, confining the mind in the heart, fixing the prana in the head, engaging in yoga dharana, and uttering the syllable Om. Through this, you can, you can remember God at the time of death. So, like that, Krishna says, Bhagavan Krishna says. And this chapter also deals with Nishkama Upasana for the spiritual growth. Like there are two ways basically, Sadhyo Mukti and then Krama Mukti. And this Sadhyo Mukti is like post Nishkama Upasana, yeah, person gains Gnana Yogyatvam, like he is fit for the knowledge. Then after post Gnana Yogyatvam, he pursues the Gnana Yoga and gets the Gnanam. So he becomes the Jivana Mukta. That means Gnananishta. That means he is liberated while he is alive. And then after the body drops, he gets Videha Mukti. So this is discussed in multiple chapters like this. And then the second way is like this chapter deals with the Upasaka. Upasaka means who does Upasana, who does Nishkama Bhakti throughout the life. So he is aiming for moksha, but he is not able to attain the gnanam, which due to some reason, it can be anything. Till end of life, he does Saguna Ishvara Upasana. He values the Ishvara. At the end of life, Ishvara Chintanam alone takes place. That's it. He is not able to attain liberation or anything. So technically, he is called as Agnani. So that means he takes, as he is praying God and he is doing upasana, he takes Shukla Gati, which I will talk again later. Takes Shukla Gati, which is the brighter path. He goes to Brahmaloka and gets Gnanam there and then gets liberated from there. So this kind of, stage-wise freedom, I mean, the steps where you see the stage-wise he will attain the liberation. So that is called as, that process is called as Krama Mukti. That means stage-wise, step-wise he is getting. So here in this, it is talked about. And then the last thought, which we are saying, right, last word, which he utters, why Arjuna is asking about that. Last thought is an indicator of the lifestyle of a person. At the moment of death, that last thought is an indicator of the lifestyle of a person, and therefore the last thought determines the next Janma. So as he remembers, if he remembers God throughout the life as with the Upasana, And at the time of death also, because of his natural habit, the mind withdraws from the external world, and he will think about the God. So benefit of this is Nishkama Upasaka will attain this Krama Mukti. He will, even though he doesn't gain Gnana Yoga, the knowledge, but still, and liberated, but he can still attain Krama Mukti, as I said, going through Brahma Loka and all. So there are two paths leading to two goals. Like as I said earlier, Shukla Gati, right? So there are two paths. One is Krishna Gati and another one is Shukla Gati. Krishna Gati is called as Dakshinayanam, or the dark path, where Sakama Upasana happens here, leads to a finite goal. He will go to higher lokas, but he, excluding this Brahma Loka, he will go to, he can go to any other loka, but he will have to return again. And again he will enjoy, like that again, it will happen in a cyclic form. If it is Shukla Gadi, Uttarayanam, it is called as a bright path, it will lead to the Brahma Loka, giving the Krama Mukti, which we talked earlier. Step by step, he will go to the Brahma Loka and then attain Gnana, and then finally he gets liberated. Brahma Vidya he will get, and then he will get liberated. So this is through, this happens through Nishkama Upasana. There is no desire behind that. And then since bright path or Shuklagati gets one to God, you need to choose that path alone. So Bhagavan advises Arjuna to commit to this Upasana. So to conclude this chapter, Bhagavan Krishna concludes saying, the yogi, realizing this profound truth, transcends all the rewards enumerated for the study of the Vedas, as well as for the performance of sacrifices, austerities, and charities, and attains the supreme and the primal state. Yes, I think.
So this chapter 9 deals about, so the name is basically the Raja Vidya and Raja Guhya. So as from the name, it's Raja Vidya, basically the knowledge of kings. Sunita, can you click next? Yeah, so basically it's a royal knowledge, which Bhagwan Krishna refers to it, king of knowledge. But we should not misinterpret that it is only for kings or for a royal people. It's for everyone. Like it's not for like clerk or whoever it is. So it's for everyone. So like Arjuna asks and Krishna reveals that. And he also refers Raja Guhya as another another topic into this, where basically it refers as a king of secrets, which a king knows. Like yeah, so in the previous two chapters, I think what Sunita said, so basically I think Sunita already explained about the importance of bhakti as the highest form, and it is the simplest to attain the yoga, basically getting united with the supreme. In this chapter of ninth, so basically Bhagwan Krishna talks about the supreme glories, which inspires, and basically the type of devotion. Yeah, yeah. So next is basically at the time of beginning of creation, the Lord creates innumerable forms in the basically in the material form, basically, and at the time of dissolution, basically at the time of dissolution or destruction, basically he will again absorbs them back into himself in the cycle of creation. So he manifests again. So if we can consider with an example, so basically we have mighty winds which blow everywhere in the sky, and again it will dwell in within the God himself. Yeah, so next moving thing, so next point is basically where many of the devotees think that there are various forms of God. Like for example, people say that we have thousands of gods or lakhs of gods, but what Krishna explains here is that there is only one God, only God, only God, who is the sole object of worship. Yeah, then yeah, so for example, the type of devotion how people should have, like for example, if they do some ritual ceremonies which will give punya and everything, like doing in doing some ritual ceremonies which has some good punya, but again once it is completed, they have to come back to return to the earth, which is basically a type of devotion which is done in a ritualistic ceremony, in the ritualistic ceremonies. Yeah, and there are some certain type of devotees where they completely union with God, doing everything for him, offering everything to him. Basically the attitude is like a ishvara pranidhana, or like yeah. So this pure devotion helps the devotee attain the mystic union with God and releases from the bondage of karmas. So here I want to talk about the bondage, uh, how bondage binds a man. So basically, when we have a karma or the action, we do good things like some good rituals, all those things, we get good punya, and when we do bad we have the papa. So this punya and papa actually have the bondage, but when it is combined with an attitude that it is offering to ishvara, then this bondage will not be there and the person will not be binded to the karma, law of karma. Yeah. Sunita, can you go to the next slide? Yeah, I think in SLM we have this main points, but I wanted to refer it here in this chapter 9. Sorry, in the chapter 9, in our SLM we have these things. So basically, what Bhagwan Krishna says is basic yoga kshema vahamyam. Uh, so what the meaning is? So basically, who adore me, who contemplate me as no different from them, who are established, I shall take. So as the name says, yogkshemam, so it's about the welfare or of the devotee, or it's about the Bhagwan saying that I will take care of devotee uh, who is contemplating on me and is no different from so basically who has a pure devotion. That is what he ensures, that Krishna says that he will take care of their Ogakshema. The next point is basically the neutrality of Ishvara. So Krishna is does not have any partiality. He is very neutral. He says that devotees are dear to him. So the devotees are, maybe they are good people or they are bad people, but Ishvara does not have any partiality. He maintains that neutrality. Like for example, if we see the gravity, so gravity is present everywhere. It is how we use it, like for sitting, for standing. So the gravity is same, but whatever gravity can be considered as a uh, ishvara's like a neutrality, in the context of neutrality. The next point is basically assurance is not encouragement. So Bhagavan Krishna says that even though there are people who have some it does not matter however one has been till now, like for example there may be some people who are uh, done a lot of sins or maybe a lot of bad things, but if he chooses towards again coming in tune with the gravity or basically the ishvara, even now he will be reap the freedoms. So basically Bhagwan Krishna assures that even though the person is did lot of sins, but once he follows or surrenders to him, he will assure it. But what the point is, basically we should not Krishna says that he one should not do bad things and again come and ask for the reaping the benefits. Yeah. The next point is basically the women of lower births. So we see that, like for example in our society there we say that Dalit people come to temple for moksha, but Krishna says that even though they are Dalit people or of lower birth, or they are equal, and uh, Krishna would be equally equally looking at them. Basically what I meant to say is it does not matter whether they are from lower birth or from or it's about women or whoever it is everyone is eligible for getting the moksha. So for example in our daily life we see our servants at home or office boys at our office. We don't give priority to them, but they are also eligible to get moksha and they also get moksha, and Krishna is happy with everyone. That is a summary. Yeah, Sunita, can you go to the next? Yeah, that's about the chapter 9. Mostly it's about that. And moving to the next chapter, which is Vibhuti Yoga. So yeah, so Vibhuti usually yeah. So in the previous chapter, let's see what is the summary. So it's basically a science of bhakti or loving devotion of God. In the previous chapter, in the ninth one, in this chapter, Sri Krishna, yeah, yeah. So in this chapter, Krishna desires to increase Arjuna's bhakti by describing his infinite glories. So what I would like to tell about Vibhuti Yoga. So we have known about Ashtanga Yoga, Pranava Yoga, and we also know the Vibhuti as that we keep it on head, or it's like prasadam in some temples. Actually, the here the meaning what is referred is the glories. So in this chapter, Sri Krishna desire wanted to increase the Arjuna's bhakti by describing the infinite glories of Krishna or Ishvara. Yeah, so glories of Ishvara, the very first vibhuti that Krishna utters is in response to Arjuna's request to elaborate. Uh, so the f- so Krishna says that I am the self in the heart of all beings in 10th chapter 20th sloka, and I am the beginning, I am the middle, and I am end of all beings. This is about yeah, in the first vibhuti he refers, Krishna refers. Next he tells, among the tree I am the Ashwatha tree. So Ashwatha tree is considered very it has a lot of spiritual significance in our Indian culture, who seeks into the spiritual path. So so in Buddhism and Jainism, the people worship a lot. And yeah, I think so Gautama Buddha got the enlightenment under the Bodhi tree. And even I think in Dakshinamurti temple also, like we see this tree. Under the tree Dakshinamurti sits and attends the, like, he teaches. I don't have much detail, but yeah, but uh, Dakshinamurti sits under this tree also, has been referred here. Yeah. Yeah. So moving to the next part of the glories of Ishvara. So in the among the months, I am the Margashira. So Margashira is a time between November 22nd November to 21st December. So uh, where the earth is very closest to the sun, and there is certain energy impacts on the human system, which is helpful for the spiritual seeker. And that is what Ishvara's like, it is one of the Ishvara's glory out of infinite glories which Ishvara refers here. Among the knowledge, it's Adhyatma Vidya, the knowledge of self. Among the secrets, I am the silence. And I am the fame, prosperity, speech, intelligence, firmness, and forgiveness in women. Yeah, these are all self-explanatory. I'm not explaining much. Yeah, among Pandavas and the Arjuna. So basically, Krishna is telling that Arjuna, I am you. So it's not that Ishvara is or Krishna is not a, so basically Krishna is everywhere, and including Arjuna, and he says I am you. Yeah, among Vrishnis I am Vasudeva. Vasudeva is another name of Krishna. It's basically the lineage of the clan. It's basically Vrishna is the name of the clan. Clan means basically lineage. Yeah. Then Bhagwan concludes the topic by saying that diversity is endless, of which I am enumerated briefly. So basically, there are many glories, but only limited of them is what I just mentioned. Is was mentioned here in the above slokas. Yeah, yeah. Sunita, can you go to the next? Yeah, as we have understood, like we have listened to Srinivas sir notes, like classes. I just want to uh, give some key takeaways. Wanted to share. Yeah. So basically, Ishwar is a basis of origin, creation, existence, or dissolution. So so God. So we say God, right? So just to have the abbreviation, getting more going into deeper of our mind, or whenever we talk about God, we should think about, have the awareness that G stands for generation, creating the Brahmaji. So Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. So O for organization is basically sustenance and maintenance. So Vishnu, we worship Lord Vishnu. and dissolution, the destruction, basically Maheshwara or Shiva or Rudraji. Yeah, some are the other takeaways are basically Ishvara and Prakruti are inseparable from Ishvara. So Prakruti is a creation. It's basically created by Ishvara, and it's not separable from Ishvara. So relating to an example, when we attend some magic show or something, so magic cannot be separated from magician. So this cycle of creation goes on. So what I wanted to say is basically when we appreciate a magic, we should also think about, we should not forget about magician. uh, uh, so similarly, in our day to day life, whatever we do, we should not forget about the Ishvara, who is actually the cause or uh, the source of our uh, action, or it's basically the Ishvara coming into our attitude, bringing into our action. Similarly, some other examples we should not forget is the same thing. And so when we go to some any place, we praise the creation. We should praise the creation. We should not only just think about the materialistic objects, but we should think about the creation. Yeah. So after studying, Bhagavad Gita, I think nothing will change, but only our attitude will change, where we bring this Ishvara as in our day-to-day life, and we have that change in attitude, which will actually solve a lot of fundamental problems. And yeah. And one more example I wanted to share basically is the spider and web, where so we say that it is we wanted to know about oneness. So for this oneness, there's a example of spider and web. So web is created by spiders saliva, and both are actually belonging to the Ishvara only. So spider and web both belongs to Ishvara, and it's like we all also belong to Ishvara, and not separate, not different from Ishvara. That is the understanding we should develop. Yeah. That's it.
So today I got the opportunity to speak about the chapter 11 and 12th of Bhagavad Gita. I am not from the corporate world, and I am not made a good number of presentations like my colleagues. My profession is a little different, and I've made some medical presentations before, but to make a spiritual presentation, this is the first time. So I'll try to do my best within my limited resources and limited knowledge. I thank Ishvara for giving the opportunity to speak about Vishwarupa Darshana Yoga and also about Bhakti Yoga. I feel these two are two important chapters in Bhagavad Gita. And I take the blessings of Pulluri Srinivas sir, who has inspired us to read the Bhagavad Gita and to understand Bhagavad Gita. With this brief, I go to the topic, chapter number 11, Vishwarupa Darshana. Initially, at the war, on seeing all the relatives, Arjuna is in a state of raga, moha, shoka. He is deeply embedded in this, and he is unable to do his duties. So Krishna, Bhagavan Sri Krishna, inspired him with the Sankhya Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, Vibhuti Yoga, Atma Samyamana Yoga, Jnana Vijnana Yoga. He inspired him, he told him about Sthita Prajna, and he has enlightened him from all the angles. And Arjuna said, yes, I am now devoid of my delusions. I recognized my duty. But he is not fully convinced. He is not fully convinced. He said to Krishna, Bhagavan, if you feel that I am eligible, can you show me your cosmic form, imperishable Vishwarupa Darshana? Lord Krishna says in Sloka 11.8, you are dearer to me, you can surely see the Vishwarupa, but with these physical eyes, you cannot visualize, you cannot see the Vishwarupa. So I will grant you Divya Chakshu, divine eyes, and so that you can see the Vishwarupa. In 16th sloka of the 11th chapter, Aneka Bahu Budaravaktra Netram Pasyami Tvam Sarvato Anantarupam Nantam Namadhyam Napunastavadim Pasyami Vishweshwara Vishwarupa. This sloka is important. In the first semester also we got it in mind image resonance technique, which was asked in our practicals and also sometimes in theory also, MIRT. And this is the prayer sloka for MIRT. So God has shown the Vishwarupa, which got numerous arms, bellies, mouths, eyes, and innumerable forms, heads. And Lord manifested, and he is not able, and he exhibited all the Vishwarupa, and Arjuna has seen it. He is astonished, say, wow, it is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And he said, with Kirita, Kiritinam, Gadinam, Chakrinam, Kirita, Gada, Chakra, and all these things, and you are glowing, and I am unable to see the brilliance and the blazing fire of the fire and the sun to gaze at you at the immeasurable all sides. So he said, it is wonderful, wonderful, but at the same time, he is unable to see the blaze and the brilliance of that blaze and the of rising suns. And in the 45th sloka, Adristapurvam Vrishitosmi Drusva Bhayena cha Pravyaditam Mano Me Tadeva Me Darsaya Deva Rupam Prasida Devesha Jagannivasa. I am very much happy, joyful, but I am tormented by fear. And he is seeing all the Kaurava warriors, including the Bhishma, Drona, Duryodhana, and some of the Pandavas' army. They are going into the Vishwarupa mouth and they are dying there. So this is really in a very terrifying form, and Arjuna tormented by fear. So he said, I am unable to see this. Please withdraw your Vishwarupa, and I want to see your Chaturbhuja Rupa, which is Kalyana Rupa, Shubha Rupa, and pleasant form. And I am unable to see, so please come back and show me this your Divya Rupa with 4 arms. So then Krishna in the last sloka of this chapter, 55th sloka, he said, all cannot see this Divya Rupa, only those with Ananya Bhakti, who worship me with Ananya Bhakti, can only see me. in this Chaturbhuja Rupa, Sarvamangala Rupa. So, what is this Ananya Bhakti? It got 5 points. Mat Karma Krut, Mat Parayanam, Mat Bhakta, Sangavajjitaha, Nirvairya Sarva Bhuteshu. And do all the things for the God, for God. And that means Ishwararpana Buddhi. Do the things with Ishwararpana Buddhi. And Matparayanam. Ultimate goal is God. Whatever you are doing only keeping God as the final target. Madbhakta, who is devoted towards God. Sangavarjitaha, who avoids the unnecessary company, unnecessary useless associations. And Nirvairya Sarva Bhuteshu, and no enmity towards anybody in this. All these 5 is called Ananya Bhakti. And those who worship the God with Ananya Bhakti can see the Chaturbhuja Sundara Rupa of Lord Vishnu. So this is all in the 11th chapter. So in this, after seeing the Vishwarupa, Arjuna is really convinced, yes, Krishna is God. He is Bhagavan. Because these two are very close friends with hands and shoulders. They are brother-in-law. Actually, Arjuna married the sister of Sri Krishna. So they are very close like friends. And suddenly in the war, Krishna, Bhagavan said, I am the Bhagavan, I am the God and Atma, Paramatma and all these things. So it was very difficult for Arjuna to initially get convinced. But after seeing the Vishwarupa, Arjuna has totally surrendered and he went into the total Bhakti Marga and is going to the 12th chapter. So this is a small chapter, but it's very important. And Arjuna is asking Bhagavan, which is the better way to worship? Is it Saguna Upasana or Nirguna Upasana? And Sri Krishna has straight away answered the question. Maya Vesya Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate Shraddha Parayo Vetaste Me Yukta Tamamataha. Those who worship me, my Saguna Rupa, always with great devotion and concentration, is superior. Arjuna thought he may say that Nirguna Pasana is the superior, so that he can leave the things and love it. But Krishna clearly answered that Saguna Pasana with devotion and concentration is superior. He said, Nirgunopasana, that is Akshara Parabrahma Swarupa. Those who do this also will reach me. But who can reach? It is only for yogis and sannyasis who can control the sense organs, who can control the mind, and who wish the welfare of everyone and see everything in this universe with equanimity. They only can do Nirgunopasana, because this is very Klishtatara. That is, it is a lot of difficulty. This was explained in 3rd and 4th slokas of 12th chapter. And also in the 5th chapter. Klesho dikataras avyakta sakta chetasam avyakta gigatir mukham dehavad viravapyate. So this Akshara Parabrahma Swarupam, that is formless Nirgunopasana, is a very difficult thing, and it is not easy for all to practice it. So Sagunopasana is superior. That what Bhagavan said in this Bhakti Yoga chapter number 12. And in the slokas 9, 10, 11, 12, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has detailed how to reach liberation by sadhana. What are the different methods? And he has given different steps and different options which suits everybody. And the first thing is Nirgunopasana, that is Jnana Yoga. If one can contemplate our Nirguna Rupa of God, that is the best. But it is very difficult and only possible for a few yogis and few sannyasis. So if you are unable to concentrate on Jnana Yoga, Nirguna Upasana, do Saguna Upasana, controlling the mind and the sense organs. You concentrate on Saguna Rupa and achieve the mukti or liberation. If you find Saguna Upasana is also difficult, do Abhyasa Yoga, that is Ishta Devata Upasana. You do repeatedly do the Ishta Devata Upasana by means of bhajans, stotras, talking loudly, chanting loudly, mantra, homas, and all these things, Abhyasa Yoga, and try to concentrate on the Ishta Devata Upasana. This is Abhyasa Yoga. If you are unable to do Abhyasa Yoga also, do your acts with Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. That means do works of God, do works related to God, divine works, divine acts. This is called Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Do the works with Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. And if you are unable to do this Ishvara Arpana Buddhi also, the easiest thing, but which is very superior also, Prasada Buddhi. That means every act you do, whatever you do, dedicate to God. That is called Karma Phala Tyagam. What all the works you dedicate to God, that is the Prasada Buddhi, which is looks very easy, but it is also very superior also. When you surrender every act of you to Ishvara. So these are the different ways. Initially, Nirgunopasana is Jnana Yoga. And if you got Sagunopasana, Abhyasa Yoga, Ishta Devata Radhana, it is Bhakti Yoga. And Ishvara Arpana Buddhi and Prasada Buddhi are Karma Yoga. So all these three things Bhagavan Sri Krishna has given. Whichever suits us, one can take and follow that Bhakti Yoga and reach it and go for liberation. And from 13th sloka onwards, 13th to 19th sloka, Bhagavan Sri Krishna is speaking about what is the qualities of the Bhakta, or the Bhaktas, which qualities are dearer to me. And these 8 slokas are also called as Bhakta Astakam. So they are very important, and both the spiritual point of view and also from exam point of view. And our Pulluri Srinivas sir has made a beautiful, given a tabular form of all the traits to be cultivated or traits to be avoided by Bhakta. And in the 13th sloka, Advesta Sarva Bhutanam Maitra Karuna Yevacha Nirmamo Nirahankaraha Samadukka Sukakshami. In this 13th sloka, the traits to be cultivated by a Bhakta are Maitri, Karuna, Samatvam, that means equality, equanimity, and Kshama, forgiveness. These 4 to be cultivated by a true Bhakta. He should be friendly with Maitri, and karuna towards downtrodden and suffering people and towards your colleagues, and samatvam, equanimity in sukha dukkha, you see the equanimity and be balanced, take everything equally, and kshama, forgiveness, you have to forgive, that is a very great quality. So all these four qualities are described to be cultivated in the sloka number 13. And in the what are the traits to be avoided is dvesha, hatredness, mamakara, this is mine, my property, my gold, my children, that you have to give up, and ahankara, feeling of ego, I am the king, I am the boss, like that you have to give up those feelings. And in the sloka number 14 of 12th chapter, Santushta satatam yogi yadatma druda nischayah mayarpita mano buddhir madbhaktas same priyaha. And in this santushta, that is contentment, whatever you got, be contented. God knows what to give, what you need. God may not give everything what you want, but He will definitely give what you need. So be contented with what you get. And yadatmaman, who controls the mind and who controls the sense organs also. Drudanisayaha, those who are a lot of self-confidence and knowledgeable, Drudanisayaha, and devotion, bhakti, and all these four are traits to be cultivated by a true bhakta in this, according to this fourth sloka, 14th sloka of 12th chapter. And tries to be avoided, udvegam, that means anxiety. And you should not become anxiety and agitated by seeing other people, and others also should not get agitated by seeing you. And harsha, that means elation, amarsha is enmity, bhayam is fear. So all these things you have to eliminate. You should not get elated with praising and goodness, and you should not get amarsha, enmity towards anybody. You should get rid of the fear and also budvegamu, anxiety. And in the 15th sloka, the positive traits is described as gentleness, mrudutvam. And the 16th sloka, अनपेक्षः सुचित् दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः समे प्रियः. Suchitvam, that means purity. Dakshatvam, resourcefulness. Udasinata, impartial. Pakshapata rahita bhavana. You should not be impartial to, you should be impartial and should not be with anybody. You should not part with anybody. So these are the positive traits to be cultivated according to sloka number 16. And the traits to be avoided are apeksha, that is dependency, arambha, sankalpa rahityam, shoka, grief. And kangsha, that is akanksha, that is desire. I want this, I want that, I want to have this more. That is akanksha to be given up. And in the pairs of opposites, sukha, dukkha, sita, usna, honor, dishonor, in all these difficult extreme situations, pairs of opposites, one should be balanced. You should not lose your temper. You should not become anxious, and you should not suffer others. You should be balanced in all the pairs of opposites. That is explained in this sloka number 18. Shama Kshetrauja Mitreja Tadamana Pamanayo Sitosna Sukha Dukkeshu Samasanga Vivarjitaha Tulya Nindastutir Mauni Santusto Yena Kenachit Aniketaka Stiramati Bhaktiman me Priya Naraha. And And in these pairs of opposites, Mitra, Shatra, Sitosna, Sukha, Dukkeshu, you should be balanced. And in the last sloka, Tulya Ninda Stutir Mauni, even if somebody criticizes you, you should be balanced and be santust, be happy with what you have gained. Or whatever is given to you, be happy. Aniketaha, don't get attached to any house or anything related. And be sthiramati, be determined and strong in your devotion towards God. Matparayanaha. And bhaktiman mane, that type of bhakta is priyo naraha, is dearer to me. That's what the 18th sloka of Bhakti Yoga. So that completes Bhakti Yoga. And whatever I little understood, I try to present. I don't know, Sir has to tell whatever little I know, I try to present in this form. So, excuse me if there are any blunders I have committed. And thanks one and all. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pasyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhavargave. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti.